Fireworks erupting on Capitol Hill during a heated Senate hearing on election security. GOP lawmakers looking to expose irregularities in the 2020 election, while Democrats continue to dismiss fraud allegations and blame Republicans for undermining the electoral process.
The fraud happened. The election in many ways was stolen, and the only way it'll be fixed is by, in the future, reinforcing the laws.
Despite the title of today's hearing, there were no widespread election irregularities that affected the final outcome. These claims are false.
I think that continued assaults on democracy and the outcome of this election that only serves to undermine confidence in the process.
I'm not too keen on lectures about how Missourians and others who voted for President Trump and now have some concerns about fraud, about integrity, about compliance with the law should just be quiet, and that they are somehow not patriotic if they raise these questions.
And things getting personal between committee chair Ron Johnson and Democrat Gary Peters on the issue of Russian disinformation. Take a look.
I just have to talk about Russian disinformation because the people peddling it are not on my side of the aisle. Senior Democrat leaders, including Ranking Member Peters, accused Senator Grassley, the President pro tem of the Senate, and myself of accepting and disseminating Russian disinformation.
I had nothing to do with this report.
You lied repeatedly.
I did not.
You lied repeatedly in the press that I was spreading Russian disinformation, and that was an outright lie. And I told you to stop lying, and you continue to do it.
Mr. Chairman, this is not about airing your grievances. I don't know what rabbit hole you're running down.
You
right
talked
now.
about Russian
going down
disinformation.
rabbit holes.
Senator Paul.
This is simply not what.
Greg, that's the kind of Senate hearing that we like.
Yes, and anyone who dismisses the topic or this hearing in general were likely drooling over the impeachment hearings and all those other hearings that were happening that robbed us of the essential mental space that was necessary to address things like COVID. That's why you can't handle this hypocrisy. The famed philosopher Peter Marshall of the great Hollywood Squares once said, "Turnabout is fair play." So if you were stupid enough not to see that this 4-year Russian lie wouldn't come back and crap on your front porch, then you're going to be in for a hell of a year. And it might only be a year because we're nicer people. We're not going to make it last 4 years. But here's the big point, and one of those guys up there mentioned this. This concern isn't generating from D.C. The polls show it. Millions of Americans all over think this election stinks more than a locker room hamper. This isn't coming from an Adam Schiff. It's coming from a Joe Sixpack. So if you don't address it, you're essentially giving the finger to half the country. And if you do that, it's going to get worse the next time this happens. And we saw a lot of good testimony. Trump's lawyer, Jesse Bennell, the stuff he talked about in Nevada. If that stuff is true, I just spit all over the producer. If that's true, I mean, holy crap! But I'll wait to see that verified. But it's some amazing stuff they were reporting on.